Everyone, today we are gonna learn about how to make a basic chassis for line follower as well as for Bluetooth control robots also. So you can see here this is a package of chassis designed in acrylic form, acrylic body. Okay, so first of all wrap, you have to remove this file. After unwrapping the file, you can also remove this this brown part also. This is for protect. This is the protecting layer of the acrylic for so that the scratches cannot become here on this. You can see here is a beautiful, a cool model of acrylic basic chassis. You can see this is a proper transparent chassis. Okay, so you can remove all this after making the bot, but before that we should not remove before making the bot because the scratches may come on this surface. Okay, so guys, first of all you need to add some wires with these terminals of the motor. Okay, these are the two wires. Red one is for one terminal and black one is for another terminal. Okay, these two wires are to be attached here. Okay, so first of all we will attach the wires. Just trim it. Okay, you have to remove the upper one and insert it like this. Done. We are done with the first terminal of the battery. Similarly, we have to attach this black one with this terminal, and so on, like this. Similarly, for another motor, we have to attach these two wires, the remaining two wires. These are the remaining two wires. Okay. So guys, we are done with this, with these two motors. We have attached two terminals of this motor with the two wires. Okay, so guys, now we are attaching with these motors. Now we are attaching these motors with this chassis. We need these two hinges. First one to come here like this, and second one will have to this. See guys, these whites are for attaching this, so the growing part will stop this from falling down like this. Okay, similarly this side was also some groove like structure, white cavities for removing this. Okay, so after doing this we have to attach. Keep this in mind that the wire should be at this side, okay, not the outside. They should be inside of this chassis, so that we can. So guys, it's the time for using these bolts. These bolts are to be attached here like this. Here you can see the bolt is coming out from this point. Okay, so now you have to put the nut in this. Similarly, take another bolt and try to insert this from this hole. Okay, like this. Okay, use this nut. Okay, now if you want to tighten it, to tighten these bolts, you need this screwdriver. Okay, you have just hold this with this, like with your fingers, and tighten it like this. Okay, similarly this end. Okay, so half part of this bolt is done now. Okay, now it's time for another part. Similarly, the another part is to be done like so. Guys, now you can see here the half part of this bolt is done. Okay, done with the first part of this bolt. Okay, so now we have to attach this caster wheel under the chassis. Okay, this one is for controller and all. Okay, and this side is for caster wheel. This is the bottom part of the bolt. Okay, now you can see here we need these kind of bolts to attaching this caster wheel. Okay, insert it like this, and we need a nut for tighten it on this bottom part. Similarly, now you can attach this bolt, and you can tighten with this screwdriver. Okay, we are done with this first step. Okay, you don't need to connect all these screws. Okay, the two can also hold this properly. Okay, so guys, now it's time for attaching this power supply with this board. Okay, now you have to attach this with the bottom part of this board. Okay, here is the bottom part, and here you can see the two holes. There are two holes which are coinciding with each other with these bolts. Okay, this one, this hole, and the other one is this hole. Okay, you have to use these two bolts like this, and secondly, at the other side you have to use this longer screw, this longer bolt nut. This will use as a platform for attaching the motor driver. Okay, in the later steps. Similarly, you have to cover this hole also. So guys, we are done with this attachment of this battery power supply to the watt. It's time for attaching this switch that will operate as a on off switch of this board. Okay, this is a on off switch. You can see here it has two states. Okay, so you have to put this switch in this, you have to insert this switch like here, like this. Okay, now there is a separate void for attaching this field. Okay, you can see here it is just surface to surface touched. Now you can now you have to cut this wire. You have to cut this wire into two parts with the help of this. Okay, it should be sufficiently long so that it can be attached, the one end from this end and one end from this side of this terminal of the switch. We are done with this. Okay, now you have to trim it. After trimming this, you have to insert the wire opening in this terminal of the switch. Okay, you can use some sharpen object like this for attaching this. So we are done with this first terminal. Okay, now we have to attach this second wire in this second terminal of the switch. Okay, similarly guys, there are two wires. First one is for positive, red one is positive, the second one is ground, that is negative. Okay, you have to use these two holes for passing these two wires, positive from this side and negative from this side. Okay, done. There are two wires for power supply. Okay, here you can see these are for motors. Okay, now okay, so guys, it's time for adding electronics to the watt. Okay, this one is motor shield L293D. You can see here L293D module, and another one is Arduino UNO. Okay, so guys, we are attaching this motor shield with this bolt. So guys, L293D should be attached here so that the wire can be attached like this in this terminal and this terminal also. And similarly, from these two ends, these two holes, we have to pass these two wires so that it can be reached properly. The wires can reach properly to the destination, that is to the terminals of this, like this. Okay, now you have to lose these bolts, and now you have to insert these two wires inside this. Okay, but before that you can turn around these two wires. So guys, now we are done with this attachment of this motor shield. Both the motors get connection with this L293D, that is motor module, motor driver shield. Okay, it's time for attaching this Arduino on this board. Okay, so again you have to use these long screws, and with the help of this you have to attach this Arduino. Guys, here you can use this connector also for powering up this Arduino with this jack. Okay, like this. So these two ends should be attached to this supply that is coming from the bottom part of this board. Okay, you can just add like twisting with this wire, twisting these wires like this. Similarly, the red one, that is positive. So guys, now our Arduino is powered up with this. Okay, now it's time for attaching these two wheels. First one is like this. As I told you, this is just plug, insert and use it. Okay, this is done. This is the basic board. This side view of this board. Okay, the bottom part of this board. All looking fine. Okay, these two are used for seeing the speed and the direction of the motors. Okay, you can use the free end of this shaft, motor shaft, in inserting this. Okay, but right now we are not using these two circles. Okay, at the end we're gonna use this IR sensor for detecting the rays. So this is an IR sensor. See, here there are 3 pins The first pin is VCC, the second pin is ground, and the third pin is output. Okay, this is for digitally output pins. Okay, this IC is called op-amp IC. We are using it in operational amplifier mode, that is comparator mode. Okay, the second one is this thing. This is the potentiometer that is used for the calibration of the IR sensor. Okay, you can see here there are two LED like structures. First one is of black color, second one is transparent, similar to the LED. But guys, this is not a simple LED. This is a transmitter, IR transmitter. You can see infrared transmitter. The second one is photodiode, that is photo receiver, that receives the IR radiations. Okay, so we are attaching it with this board. Okay, you can use double tape also for attaching this board. Double tape, we recommend you to use double tape because it offers flexibility in the position. Okay, so now we are using a double tape strip. Like this. Okay, we are done with this first, the basic board building. Okay, the IR sensor is attached to it. There is a power supply. Okay, so it's the time for connection. Okay, we are using male to female wires for connecting it. Okay, like this. Now we are connecting this IR sensor. Okay, IR sensor in such a way that the ground pin is connected to the ground pin of Arduino UNO. You can see here in the power section there is a ground pin. There are two ground pins in the power section. Okay, so we are connecting. Okay, now you can see here there is a connection between ground pin of this Arduino to the ground pin of this Arduino to the ground pin of this IR sensor. Okay, similarly the output pin is connected to pin number 2. Here is a pin number 2, 0, 1, 2. Okay, there is a pin number 2 is connected to the output pin of this IR module. Okay, now further connections, we are leaving the VCC pin because connect it later on. Okay, so before that we need to connect the motors connection. Okay, this is a motor driver, and motor driver is to be connected by using this male to female again. Okay, you can connect both the pins simultaneously. Okay, like this. So this is for right motor and this is for left motor. Okay, this is left motors. This is, so guys, this is left motor and this is right motor. Okay, this section is for right motor. Okay. So we are connecting the left motors. We are connecting the left motor with the 3 and 4 number pins of the Arduino. Okay, you can see here I am doing connection between 3 and 4. Okay, similarly we can connect 4 right side motor to the 5 and 6 number pin of the Arduino. So we are connecting it in 5 and 6 like this. Okay, now the motor connection is done. Now we are supplying the power supply to the motor driver IC. Okay, to do so we need external battery power supply because we can't use this power supply. It will we can't use this power supply, we can't rely on this power supply using this Arduino 293D module, because it will reset the Arduino every time it gets a load. The load is coming from the motors. Okay, so we need a separate battery connector for using this battery. Okay, so first of all we need a 12-volt supply. That is, you can see here there are 9 volts, 9/12 volts. Okay, these two pins are for, you can see here, these two pins are for 12 volt and 9 volts, these two pins are for ground, and the remaining two pins are for 5 volts. The 5 volt is the power supply of this L293D module. Okay, we are connecting the power supply, so we can connect ground pin of the L293D to the ground pin of Arduino UNO, like this. This gray wire is for grounding. Okay, now it's time for 5 volts, but before connecting the 5 volts, you need to split this. You have to cut this male to female connector in the two parts, so that we can make a wire connection between motor and L293D, like this. Okay, now you have to strip it. So now we are going to connect the 5 volts to the 5 volts of the IR module. Okay, that is the VCC. Every time we use VCC for the 5 volt supply. Okay, we denote 5 volts as a VCC and the IEEE standards. You need to cut it from the longer end. Okay, so that you can reach, the pin can be reached here. Okay, we have cut the 5 volts, we have cut the wire for the 5 volts. Now we are connecting these two wires, that is connecting the 5 volt supply. Okay, now no need to confuse. You can see here, this is a 5 volt VCC to the IR, then 5 volt to the Arduino UNO, and this same supply is going to the L293D module, 5 volts. Okay, now 5 volt, 5 volt and 5 volts, or R3 are commons. Okay, now we have to supply 9 volts. Okay, and for this we have a battery connector. It has two wires. First one is positive and second one is for negative. The black one is for negative. Now you can add a 9 volt supply to the cutted wire. Okay, again the same procedure for cutting the wires. You need a female connector for connecting it. Now we are connecting it. We are connecting positive to the red wire, the battery positive to the yellow wire. Okay, now this goes in this 12 volt battery. Now you can see here, this battery positive is going to the 9 volts. Okay, now you can see here. Okay, now we have to common the ground also, so we need a male connector like this to connecting the wire. Okay, now we are joining it by twisting. This method is called twisting of two wires. Now this goes in ground section. Okay, so now you can see here there are three pins for ground section. Okay, two is from this side, two is the two ground pins are in this side power section, and another ground pin is at this side. Okay, now you can see here there are three ground pins in the Arduino, so we are consuming all the three by connecting it 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 ground. Okay, done. So now you are using its battery. Okay, we are using a gauze tape for attaching this battery. Okay, so for the safety purpose you should have wrap it using a tape. Okay, you can use a cello tape or a black tape for wrapping all these three joints. Okay, so we are done with the connections.
So this is the programming for a line follower. In this case, we have used one IR sensor and it is connected to pin number 2. So pin number 2 is declared as input, and our motors are connected to pin number 3, 4, 5 and 6. That is our L293D input are connected to pin number 3, 4, 5 and 6, and hence they are declared as output pins. Okay. Now in void loop, first of all, we'll compare the read value of sensor, that is digital read 2, because our sensor is connected to pin number 2. So we will compare that if this sensor returns low, that is when this sensor is on black color. So in that case, we are moving our right motor and we are stopping our left motor. Okay, this command is to stop our left motor and this command is to stop our right motor. Okay, so now in this case, if this sensor returns high, that is if this sensor is on white color, then what will happen, our left motor will move and our right motor will stop. See, these two commands are opposite to each other. In this case, we have our right motor moving and left one stop, and in this case we have our left motor moving and right one will not move. Okay, so this is a simple programming of a line follower. Thank you.
Now this is our basic line follower. It has two motors. These are two motors. Okay, two wheels, one IR sensor, one Arduino board and one L293D. Okay, so basically in a simple robot we have two wheels and one universal wheel to support it. See, this is our universal wheel and there are two wheels. Okay,